The galaxy had known war for as long as anyone could remember. Star systems lit up not with the glow of exploration, but with the flicker of distant battles. Alliances formed and shattered like fragile glass. Amid this endless cycle, the Xilari, a mysterious and powerful coalition of alien species, had been one of the fiercest opponents. Their ships, sleek and silent, brought dread to countless worlds. So when the Xilari broadcast their message of peace, the entire galaxy was stunned. It wasn't a declaration or a demand. It was an offer. An invitation to sit down, to talk, to end the centuries of conflict. Humanity's leaders gathered in a hurried emergency session. Some urged caution, others dared to hope. The Council of Earth, the unified voice of humanity's nations, decided to accept the invitation, but with guarded hearts. Humanity had risen swiftly into the interstellar community, proud of its resilience and unyielding spirit. They were eager to show they were worthy of peace, but not naive enough to trust without question. Ambassadors were chosen carefully, representing not just Earth's political powers, but its diverse cultures and ideas. Among them was Ambassador Elena Marquez, known for her calm diplomacy and keen intuition. She had spent years preparing for this moment, studying the Xilari's history, language, and customs, looking for clues hidden beneath their polished surface. As their ship approached the Xilari homeworld, Elena looked out at the sprawling cities bathed in violet light. The Xilari capital was unlike anything humans had seen. Structures that seemed to flow like liquid metal, gardens floating in midair, and a silence so profound it pressed against the ears. The welcoming ceremony was unlike any diplomatic event on Earth. No grand speeches, no formal banquets, just a simple, quiet gathering in a vast hall where the Xilari spoke softly, their voices weaving harmonies that felt both alien and strangely comforting. Their leader, an elegant figure known only as Valor, spoke with a gentle certainty that left no room for argument. Yet, as Elena observed the faces of her fellow ambassadors, she noticed subtle shifts, brief flickers of uncertainty, a hesitation that the Xilari never acknowledged openly. After the ceremony, as the human delegation retired to their quarters, Elena requested access to the communications archives. Late into the night, she and her team pored over old transmissions, diplomatic records, and cultural data. There, buried in a nearly forgotten message from centuries before, they found a strange pattern. An encoded warning hidden in the Xilari's own treaties. The message was incomplete, cryptic, and alarming. The peace you seek may bind you tighter than chains. Watch the silence between the words. Elena felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold metal walls around her. The peace seemed genuine on the surface, but beneath, something waited, something watching, waiting for the right moment. Humanity was not ready to be caught unprepared. Not this time. And so, as the galaxy celebrated what seemed like the dawn of a new era, a small, determined group of humans began their quiet vigil, ready to uncover the truth hidden in the peace. The message Elena and her team uncovered was like a faint whisper buried beneath centuries of noise, almost easy to miss. But now that it had surfaced, it demanded attention. Back on Earth, Amina Patel, a gifted linguist and cryptographer, was pulled from her routine research to join the team analyzing the Xilari's peace treaty. Amina was fascinated by languages, not just the words themselves, but the subtle patterns that hid deeper meanings, the echoes beneath the surface of communication. The treaty, drafted in the Xilari's complex symphony of sound and light, was beautiful, yet layered. As Amina pored over the treaty's texts, she discovered something remarkable. The Xilari language contained embedded codes, tiny fluctuations in tone and pattern that, when isolated, formed a secondary message. It was as if the treaty was speaking two languages at once, the official one and a secret one. For days, Amina worked alongside mathematicians and historians, decoding these signals. Slowly, the hidden text emerged. It wasn't a threat, nor a promise of goodwill, but a warning a message from a long-lost civilization that once faced the Xylary's peace offerings and vanished. The peace is not what it seems, the message read. It is a web of control woven by silence and consent. Those who accept must remain vigilant. Amina's fingers trembled as she relayed the discovery to Alina and the council. The revelation rippled through the human delegation like a silent alarm. If this warning was true, accepting the treaty without understanding its full meaning could trap humanity in a cage they wouldn't see until it was too late. Alina convened a small circle of trusted advisors, scientists, diplomats, and security experts to explore the implications. Their discussions were intense but measured. The question was no longer whether to trust the Xylari, but how to uncover the hidden intentions without breaking the fragile peace. Meanwhile, the human delegation kept their doubts close. They continued to attend ceremonies and diplomatic meetings with calm professionalism, careful not to raise suspicion. Alina watched the Xylari carefully, noting their graceful movements, their shared glances, the unspoken language in their silences. One night, Amina invited Alina to witness the latest breakthrough. In a small lab filled with soft blue light, Amina projected a holographic model of the treaty's encoded message. It revealed a complex matrix of signals, layered like a three-dimensional puzzle. This, Amina explained, is more than a warning. It's a map, hidden instructions on how to detect and avoid the control the Xylari might try to impose. Whoever sent it wanted to give future generations a fighting chance. Alina nodded, her mind racing. Then we must find those instructions. We must prepare, not for war, but for awareness. As the days passed, humanity's efforts grew more urgent. Teams of scientists developed new sensors and communication devices designed to detect hidden signals. Cultural experts studied Xylari rituals, looking for clues. Diplomats probed conversations for unspoken meanings. The peace treaty remained on the surface a symbol of hope, but beneath it, a quiet tension grew. Humanity had accepted the offer, but now they were determined to understand every shadow hidden in that peace. The galaxy watched, waiting to see what humanity would do next. While the galaxy celebrated a new era of peace, humanity's quiet vigilance deepened. Alina's team knew that the greatest threats were often the ones unseen. The challenge wasn't to confront the Xylari directly. It was to understand their intentions and protect themselves without shattering the fragile trust that held the peace together. To do this, humanity deployed an array of silent observers, advanced drones equipped with discrete sensors, artificial intelligence capable of analyzing subtle energy patterns, and networks that could relay information instantly across light years. These silent watchers became humanity's eyes and ears in Xylari space. In a dim control room on the edge of the Sol system, Amina oversaw the data streaming in from these watchers. She studied patterns of light, shifts in electromagnetic waves, and even minute fluctuations in gravitational fields. At first, the readings were puzzling, strange but subtle anomalies that made no sense on their own. One evening, as the observation drone circled the Xylari capital, the AI detected a series of irregular pulses, almost like a heartbeat, emanating from a hidden structure beneath the city's gleaming surface. The signal was faint but consistent, a slow rhythm unlike anything recorded before. Alina and her team debated what it could mean. A communication system, she suggested, or a control mechanism. Amina's eyes narrowed as she examined the data. It's too precise for natural phenomena. I think it's deliberate. But what was the message? And who was it intended for? While the scientists worked to decode the mysterious signals, the human delegation focused on building genuine connections with the Xylari. Alina met with Veller regularly, exchanging ideas and stories about their respective cultures. Despite the underlying tension, moments of shared laughter and curiosity emerged, proof that peace was fragile but possible. Meanwhile, the human colonies in Xylari space lived under a new kind of uncertainty. Families went about their lives, schools taught children about unity, and marketplaces buzzed with trade. But beneath it all was a shared unease, an unspoken question. Could the peace be genuine? Back on the observation decks, Amina made a breakthrough. By correlating the mysterious pulses with cultural events on the Xilari calendar, she realized the signals changed depending on certain diplomatic meetings. It was a code, a subtle layer of communication hidden beneath the grand performances of diplomacy. But unlike weapons or threats, this code seemed to convey intention and mood. It was as if the Xilari were sharing their true feelings only in these hidden waves, perhaps as a form of honesty reserved for themselves. Belina mused on this discovery. If we can understand their true emotions, maybe we can bridge the gap. Maybe the Xilari want peace too. They just don't know how to show it in our terms. The team developed new technology to translate these emotional signals, creating a bridge between human empathy and alien expression. Slowly, the silent watchers became more than just surveillance tools. They were instruments of understanding. In the midst of this silent observation, humanity learned patience. They knew the peace might be a fragile illusion, but they also saw a chance for something greater, proof that even in the quietest moments, hope could grow. As the watchers kept their vigil, humanity prepared, not for conflict, but for connection. The more humanity observed the Xilari, the clearer it became that their form of communication went beyond words or signals. It touched the mind, subtle, almost imperceptible shifts in perception, emotions carefully woven into every interaction. It was a language of feelings, impressions, and influence. To protect themselves, human engineers and neuroscientists came together to create a groundbreaking device, a non-invasive mental scanner designed to detect hidden psychological influences. This technology didn't intrude on thoughts or invade privacy. It simply revealed subtle manipulations in how the brain processed information, like an alert system for mental interference. Dr. Layla Grant, the lead neuroscientist on the project, was fascinated by the possibilities. If the Xilari's peace carries a hidden influence, this device will help us see it, she explained to Elena during one of their strategy meetings. Not to fight it with weapons, but to understand it and respond consciously. The first tests came quietly, with volunteers from the human delegation and colonies wearing the scanners during their daily interactions with Xilari officials. At first, the devices detected nothing unusual, just normal brain activity responding to new languages and environments. But then, small irregularities began to appear. Some individuals reported fleeting dreams, images of locked doors, endless corridors, and distant voices. Others experienced strange déjà vu, feelings of calm that seemed too persistent, like an emotional undercurrent beneath genuine feelings. The scanners flagged subtle shifts in brainwave patterns corresponding to these experiences. The discovery sparked a new wave of curiosity and caution. The Xilari's peace might be genuine on the surface, but it also carried layers of psychological influence designed to shape perceptions, guiding thoughts without direct command. Layla's team refined the scanners, creating real-time feedback tools that allowed individuals to recognize when their minds were being subtly influenced. The goal wasn't to shut down these feelings, but to heighten awareness, to make every human conscious of how their own thoughts might be shaped. Elena saw the profound significance. This is not about resisting control, she said. It's about reclaiming choice. If we know when we're being influenced, we can decide how to respond. Meanwhile, cultural exchanges between humans and Xilari deepened. Instead of ignoring these psychological undercurrents, some human diplomats began openly discussing emotions and perceptions, inviting Xilari counterparts to share their feelings. It was a new form of diplomacy, one based on empathy and mutual understanding rather than words or protocol. During one such meeting, Elena noticed Veller's demeanor change. The usual composed calm gave way to vulnerability, a rare moment that felt authentic. The Xilari leader spoke of fear, not of war, but of loneliness and misunderstanding across species. This moment revealed a hidden truth. Both sides sought peace, but the path was clouded by centuries of suspicion and different ways of thinking. With the scanners helping humans maintain mental clarity and emotional diplomacy opening new channels of trust, the fragile peace began to show signs of real growth. Humanity wasn't just surviving the trap. They were learning to navigate it with awareness, patience, and heart. And the galaxy watched, hopeful that peace could be more than an illusion. The puzzle beneath the peace treaty was intricate, layered with complexities that challenged even the brightest minds. Yet humanity was nothing if not resourceful. From every corner of Earth and its colonies, experts joined forces. Linguists, mathematicians, scientists, artists, philosophers, each bringing a unique perspective to unravel the Interstellar enigma. In a sprawling research hub orbiting Mars, the brightest minds gathered in what became known as the puzzle room. Walls were covered in holographic maps, flowing equations, shifting patterns of light and sound. No one claimed to understand it all. Instead, they worked together like pieces of a living machine, combining ideas and challenging assumptions. Amina Patel, still fascinated by the hidden language within the treaty, led a team that experimented with synesthetic decoding, a method that translated the Interstellar's musical light patterns into colors, emotions, and shapes. Their communication is not linear, she explained. It's a dance of senses, a multidimensional symphony that needs to be felt, not just read. Meanwhile, Lila Grant's neuroscience team incorporated their mental scanners into the puzzle-solving process. By monitoring brainwave patterns of those studying the treaty, they identified moments of insight, fleeting sparks of connection between the conscious and subconscious mind. One of the most unexpected breakthroughs came from an artist named Kai, who approached the treaty as a work of abstract art rather than a document. His interpretations revealed emotional undertones, hope, fear, patience, woven into the treaty's design. It's like a conversation in colors and textures, Kai said. We have to listen with more than just our minds. As the puzzle room buzzed with energy, Elena coordinated diplomatic efforts. She shared findings with the Interstellar delegation, inviting their input. The Interstellar responded with curiosity and cautious openness, offering pieces of their own history and culture to help humanity understand. Days turned into weeks as the teams delved deeper. Slowly, a clearer picture emerged. The peace treaty was not merely a document. It was a living pact, designed to evolve and adapt. Its true meaning depended on the willingness of those involved to engage honestly, patiently, and creatively. But this also meant that peace was fragile. It required constant effort to maintain, not a simple truce, but a dynamic relationship that needed care and attention. One night, as a new layer of the treaty's code unfolded on the holographic display, Amina smiled. It's like a promise hidden in a puzzle, she said. If we solve it, we unlock not just peace, but understanding. Elena felt the weight of that promise. Humanity's journey was no longer about defending itself against a trap, but about embracing complexity and connection. The challenge was daunting, but also exhilarating. The great puzzle was a test, and humanity was rising to meet it. With every insight, every breakthrough, the galaxy saw a new kind of strength emerge. The strength of minds working in harmony, hearts open to possibilities, and a spirit unbroken by fear. The peace was no longer just a fragile illusion. It was becoming a shared creation. And in that creation, humanity found hope. The discovery of the peace treaty's complexity inspired humanity to widen its circle of trust. The more they learned about the Interstellar, the clearer it became that this was not a story of enemies and victims, but of civilizations struggling to understand one another across vast cultural divides. Elena proposed a bold step. Instead of isolating themselves within the human delegation, they would reach out to other species who had also experienced the Interstellar's peace offer. These species, scattered across the galaxy, had their own stories, some hopeful, some wary, but none had cracked the full meaning of the treaty's hidden layers. Through secure channels, humanity sent envoys to these distant worlds, inviting them to join a coalition dedicated to uncovering the truth behind the peace. The coalition was not a military alliance. It was a council of scholars, diplomats, and thinkers, united by curiosity and caution. One of the earliest responses came from the Silari, a species known for their intricate art and storytelling. Their ambassador, a graceful being named Callan, shared tales of ancient times when the Silari had offered peace, and when it had come with subtle bindings. Peace is not the absence of conflict, Callan told Elena during a holographic meeting, but the presence of understanding. We must listen to what is not said as much as to what is. Together, the coalition pooled resources, libraries, technologies, cultural archives, and began weaving a tapestry of knowledge. Each species contributed insights that helped decode the treaty's emotional and symbolic language. The coalition also faced challenges. Old prejudices and mistrust surfaced during debates. Some feared the Silari's intentions were too dangerous to risk friendship. Others worried that sharing knowledge might expose vulnerabilities. Elena worked tirelessly to keep the coalition united, reminding everyone of the greater goal, not to dominate, but to learn and protect. In one remarkable exchange, a Silari poet collaborated with human scientists to create a new form of communication, one that combined music, images, and shared emotions to build empathy across species. This new language transcended words and logic, allowing even the most cautious diplomats to feel the genuine desire for peace. As the coalition grew stronger, the Silari took notice. Their representatives began participating more openly in the dialogue, no longer guarded but curious and engaged. Velar, the Silari leader, spoke to the coalition for the first time. "We offer peace not as a trap, but as a chance. It is true that our ways are different, and we fear misunderstanding. But through patience and openness, we hope to build a future together." The moment was historic, a turning point where suspicion softened into tentative trust. On Earth, Elena reflected on how far humanity had come. The peace was no longer a distant hope or a hidden threat. It was a bridge being built step by step, across stars and hearts. And as new voices joined the chorus, the galaxy glimpsed a future where diversity was strength and connection was the greatest power of all. The coalition's efforts were transforming the galaxy's view of peace. What had once seemed fragile and uncertain was becoming something richer, more profound, a living dialogue stretching across species and worlds. Elena often found herself reflecting on how fragile understanding could be and how powerful it became when nurtured. The new communication language, a beautiful blend of music, imagery, and shared emotions, was spreading. It was called Harmonia, a tribute to the harmony it inspired. Through Harmonia, species that had never spoken the same words or even shared the same senses began to connect. In the bustling spaceport of Ardent Prime, a planet known for its diversity, an unprecedented event took place, a Harmonia festival, where humans, Silari, and many others gathered to celebrate connection. The festival was a mosaic of color and sound, glowing tendrils of light weaving through crowds, melodies that felt like warm embraces, and stories told not just by voice, but through shared feelings. Elena attended with a sense of cautious joy. She knew the road here had been long and filled with uncertainty, but the moment was proof that peace could grow from patience and empathy. Among the crowd, Velar moved gracefully, a symbol of the Silari's willingness to embrace change. He and Elena shared a quiet conversation beneath a canopy of shimmering lights. "We feared that peace would be a chain," Velar said softly. "But now I see it as a dance, a partnership where both sides learn the steps." Elena nodded. "It is a dance we create together, step by step. And sometimes we stumble, but we keep moving." Yet, even as hope blossomed, the coalition remained vigilant. Amina and Lila continued to monitor signals and emotions, ensuring that no hidden traps went unnoticed. Their work was a reminder that peace required effort, not just goodwill. On a remote research station orbiting a binary star, a surprising discovery was made. Hidden deep within the Auxiliaries' archives was a record of an ancient era, a time when their ancestors had faced a great crisis and chose peace over war, but at a cost. That cost was misunderstanding. The records revealed that the Auxiliaries' initial peace offers had been cautious, designed to protect their own vulnerabilities. But over generations, the Auxiliary had learned that true peace demanded openness and trust. Elena shared this revelation with the Coalition. It was a moment of clarity, explaining the cautious patterns humanity had sensed and the emotional layers woven into the treaty. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath, aware that the next steps would shape their shared future. And as the festival's music swelled, a new melody rose, a promise carried not by words, but by echoes of understanding. Humanity had stepped through the trap's shadow and into a light made brighter by the unity of many voices. The dance of peace was far from over, but now it was a dance of hope. The Harmonia Festival had ended, but its echoes lingered in hearts across the galaxy. The Coalition, once a fragile assembly of cautious species, had become a beacon of collaboration and hope. Elena stood on the observation deck of the Unity Station, gazing at the vast expanse of stars, knowing this was only the beginning of something truly extraordinary. The Auxiliary Peace Treaty, once feared as a trap, had been transformed through patience, understanding, and relentless curiosity into a living symbol of unity. No longer a silent web of control, it was now a tapestry woven by many voices, cultures, and dreams. Viller joined Elena, his presence calm and reassuring. "We feared that offering peace might be seen as weakness," he admitted, "but you showed us strength is in trust and openness." Elena smiled. Humanity has always believed that strength comes not from domination, but from connection. From standing together even when the future is uncertain. Across the Coalition, species shared technologies and stories, blending art and science, logic and emotion. The mental scanners that once served to protect minds from hidden influence were now tools to enhance empathy, helping individuals perceive the subtleties of feeling and thought across species barriers. Layla's team had refined the devices into empathy enhancers, which became common in schools and public spaces, fostering a culture of mutual respect and deep understanding. The Coalition's council expanded to include more species, each bringing unique wisdom to the shared table. Conflicts that once seemed inevitable were now approached with dialogue and creativity, inspired by the dance of Harmonia. On Earth, celebrations marked the official recognition of the Galactic Unity Accord, a document born from the Peace Treaty but expanded through Coalition efforts. It symbolized not just the end of a potential trap, but the beginning of a future where diversity was embraced as strength. Elena addressed the assembled representatives from hundreds of worlds, her voice steady and hopeful. "Today we celebrate not just peace, but partnership, a future where no voice is silenced, no culture erased. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts. Together, we are a galaxy united by understanding." As the crowd erupted in applause, Elena caught sight of Amina, Layla, Kai, and other pioneers whose dedication had turned suspicion into hope. She thought of the countless moments of doubt and discovery, the puzzles solved, the bridges built, and the silent watchers who had kept humanity's promise alive. Outside the station's windows, stars shimmered like distant promises, endless and bright. The trap had been real, but so was humanity's readiness to face it with wisdom, courage, and heart. A new dawn was rising in the galaxy, one where peace was not fragile or forced, but alive, a dance of many voices, moving together toward a future only they could create. And in that dance, humanity found its true place, not as conquerors or victims, but as creators of unity. The galaxy was listening, and for the first time, it was singing.